Hey, and welcome to the 2018 Indiana Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. We are so excited that you are here for another year of time for us to worship, fellowship, learn, engage with one another, and really also to celebrate the connection of United Methodism. Our theme is See All the People, and it is a rich theme for us to learn more about how we can engage with our communities and be fully missional, with our charge to be 100% missional by 2020. So as we look at conference this year, there are lots of exciting things, and let's take a look at all that is happening this week. Before the official open of conference, there are people here participating in learning opportunities with workshops on digital theology, missional engagement, marketing and communications, and so much more to help them see all the people in their communities. Bishop Trimble, it's an exciting time. It's the night before annual conference with the theme of See All the People for this 2018 season of fellowship and renewal and worship and so much more. What are you hopeful for?
I'm looking forward to the worship, to the critical conversation opportunity, and for just opportunity to pray together and to be in the same space. And we're going to be taking our main offering this year to focus on ministry with the poor and UMCOR. 2016, 2017, already into 2018, were multiple disasters, whether Puerto Rico, here in the U.S., and here in Indiana as well. And our continuing to ramp up one of the 4 areas of focus of ministry with the poor. So one of our offerings will focus on that, because that'll be one of the themes that you'll hear me mention also in the Episcopal address.
Awesome.
I'm really excited about our theme of See All the People. In church development, that's what we're really all about. We try to help our churches understand who the people are all around them that might not yet be a part of their congregations. And it's just exciting to think about the 6 million, almost 7 million Hoosiers that are out there, so many of whom are not connected to a United Methodist Church. So there's so much opportunity with that.
I'm excited about coming down to conference, hearing the keynote speakers. They always bring in a wonderful crew for us to listen to engage with. Also looking forward to this inspiration and a point of refreshment for my spirit as well.
So what I'm excited about is just the connections for people to come together, but also the resources and the ways in which we glean information from one another in the sharing of our stories. That's what I have greatly come to appreciate about annual conference session.
So Fran, on Thursday, we opened with the celebration of life.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your inspiration in making it a meaningful way to honor those who passed on, and also, too, an upbeat way for those coming into conference to be excited about all that's ahead.
Well, it was challenging, but I think it was a great way to start off, So you have the celebration of the beginning of everything, that's the whole conference, but also celebrating the beginning of a new life, with Christ for people who have gone before. So trying to figure out how to tie those two together, at first was a little challenging, but the more I thought about it, it kind of made sense. So hopefully trying to create a situation where people can kind of start to celebrate again a little bit.
During the afternoon plenary session on Thursday afternoon, we received reports from the Committee on Nominations, our Council on Finance and Administration, our trustees, as well as a chance to approve the consent calendar and hear and vote upon resolutions. We also heard from First Lady Rayselder Granberry Trimble, who reminded us that words matter. The United Methodist Foundation of Indiana announced the giving of $226,557 to the Minister's Retirement Fund. The trustees reported the distribution of the Sharia Trust earnings of $513,950 were as follows. The 2019 retiree health insurance subsidy, $378,360. Operation Classroom Tamia Enterprises Academies, $108,540. Retained earnings 10% at $51,395. Here's the results of the resolutions. So it's been a very full time here already at Annual Conference, and so much has happened in so many spaces throughout the Convention Center. But we had a moment to catch up with some emerging leaders who are here this week and wanted to hear about their outlook of what Annual Conference is. I'm here with Emily Crash, who's our Associate Director of Leadership Development for Emerging Leaders. That is a mouthful, right? So tell us what that means and then introduce us to these great people.
That means that we believe that the students and youth are the church of today and tomorrow, and we want to provide them with leadership opportunities and opportunities to serve in the church here and now, and that's what they're doing here at Annual Conference.
All right. So what are you excited about for this conference?
I'm excited about engaging people in what we do as emerging leaders, and we just want to engage people so that they're inspired by what the words that we're saying.
And Emily, what are you excited about in being an emerging leader and also being an annual conference?
I'm excited about the recognition and how people as a whole will be able to see us in a different light besides just young people, but as people that are on stage, that are around doing the same thing that they're here to do.
Friday morning began with Bible study and prayer, an opportunity to worship God in song and learning with Reverend Beth Newton Watson, who serves as the Director of Spiritual Care and Chaplaincy Services, IU Health, and will also lead as the Indiana Conference Chaplain.
Little prayer, little power. Much prayer, much power. No prayer, no power.
Bishop Trimble gave the 2018 Episcopal address in which he asked, "In case of an emergency, are you willing to assist?" The laity address was shared by conference lay leader Doris Clark, who offered that laity have to be bold and courageous. Emily Reese greeted the conference as the new Director of Church Development, shared about their new resource aim, achieving the goal of 30 new faith communities by 2020, 2 years ahead of schedule, and a new commitment to 30 new faith communities each year. The General Board of Higher Education's Francis Asbury Award was given to Reverend Sharon Samsel with the United Methodist Campus Ministries of Terre Haute during the Leadership Development Report. Shannon Stringer was also introduced as the new Director of Leadership Development, as Dr. Elise Fulbright transitions to serve as the Conference Superintendent of the East District. Friday afternoon was filled with reports and many highlights, including greetings from the General Board of Global Ministries, the Emerging Leaders Report, the report of the Extended Cabinet, and a motion was made to address the resolutions in the printed booklet for the effort and cost that was associated with said booklet by Bob Land.
I trust that all the business, such as the resolutions, printed in our worship and guide, are important. Otherwise, why would we take the time, energy, and money to print it?
The motion was passed by the body as they decided to postpone critical conversations to carry on the scheduled business. The Mission and Justice Report, which featured Matthew's Voices Choir from Roberts Park, a special ministry focused on providing a space and connection for those who are homeless to explore their faith through music. Ed Van Wyk provided the nominations report in a more standard format than years past. The Council on Finance and Administration's report and budget included a report from Ian Hall, who shared about the overall budget, our income and our expenditures, and our commitment to the connection. In a unique moment, Rodney Frieden interrupted Mr. Hall to offer an illustration of how connectional giving has had an impact on all of us and why the tithe is so important. The 2019 total income budget of $13,149,000 was approved unanimously. Here are the results of the resolutions. We are with the Reverend Dr. Jackie King, who is with us from Discipleship Ministries out of Nashville, our denominational center for all that is discipleship ministries and discipling people of all ages and generations, who came with us to share a message at our laity session. So tell us what it means to go.
What it means to go is to really be convicted in your heart where God has said to you, this is the passion that I need you to touch. This is the work that I need you to do, but I need you to leave the building. But going out means engaging. If we're going to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world, they're not going to be located in the building. They may stop by, but we have to be willing to go out and actually connect with those people that God has broke our heart with to say, I need you to tell them the message of love.
One of the most important aspects of our spiritual life is prayer. And while we're at annual conference doing the nitty-gritty of the business of ministry and the church, we need to also remember to find time to be reflective, to pray for ourselves, to pray for our families, to pray for our colleagues in ministry, and the world around us. So let's go take a look upstairs at the prayer room and see all that they've been doing to make a reflective space here at annual conference.
Prayer is always important. There's always something to pray about, and it's a way to communicate with God and just develop our relationship with Him, to help determine His will, and then pray that His will be done.
Beth, what are your thoughts about how do we find moments of quiet in busy times or very trying times, and how do we also use those moments to hear what God's will is?
Well, I'm a believer in praying without ceasing, so it works best for me if I think about talking to God all day long. I think it's important to be people who pray throughout and without ceasing throughout conference, because in every one of these moments, something of ultimate importance is taking place. Your ministry, Skylar, is essential, and everybody else's is as well. And without each other and without the prayers we have for each other, we could not go on.
I think it's been great, a good conference, a good spirit. Had a chance to meet a lot of first-time attenders to annual conference, and that always encourages me when people say, this is my first time at annual conference, didn't know exactly what it was going to be like. Glad for the community fun night. It's a time to kind of relax and wind down before we had the big ordination and commissioning service. And I met some young people tonight who are thinking about ministry, so I think we're planting some good seeds in Indiana for future leaders in the United Methodist Church.
We're continually in awe of the people around us. We get to meet new and intriguing people every day, and conference is always aligned with something else in Indianapolis. So one of the major things here is PopCon, and we get to see all types of things from all types of Comic-Con worlds, including stormtroopers. Let's see them all. As you think about going home, back to your ministry context, what are you going to take home from this time at conference?
Well, the one thing that I'm really excited about was the introduction of fresh expressions, to see how we can go out and really do something new and different, and get our church on board with that.
The thing that I like about annual conference is getting to come together and find out about all the different things that are going well in other people's churches. But when you're in the rows, you don't really get a chance to do that. Maybe the person on your left and the person on your right. But here are 7 or 8 or 10 people that I get to have really intimate conversations about what's going on in their church. So actually, I love the tables.
So we are here with the Reverend Angie Kidd, who is about to become Methodist official in all capacities of the word, as she'll be an ordained deacon in full connection shortly. How are you feeling, and what does this mean for you?
Numb, a little numb. I think what it means for me is fulfilling a very long journey, a very big yes. It means feeling very humbled to be called. And it means more than I can say, and I am not often speechless.
It is surreal. I've only been really a part of the church at all for about 8 years. Is when I started going to Wesley Foundation, was 2010. And so it's just been one straight shot towards ordination since then. And when I think about the person I was 8 years ago and the person I am now and all the stages in between, it's been just an amazing ride. And I can't believe all the things God has done for me.
Truthfully, I feel like I'm finally kind of exhaling. It's a long process with a lot to do and a lot to think about, and it's not something that you take for granted once you're finished.
Saturday's highlight was the celebration of ministry service, which features the commissioning and ordination of those called to serve as clergy. This unique moment in the life of the church allowed the conference to affirm the call of 23 persons in the following areas: commissioning 7 elders, 3 deacons, ordination 12 elders, and 1 person formerly recognized as a deacon will now serve as an elder. Reverend Brian K. Milford, President and CEO of the United Methodist Publishing House, preached that you may be faithful disciples.
Called by Christ with compassion, sent by Christ to be compassionate, the Holy Spirit is at work in your life and in the life of Christ's church, and we stand in awe and gratitude for God's presence and blessing.
Reverend Milford reminded all to remember their baptism and be thankful, and that the Holy Spirit is always at work within us so that we may live as faithful disciples of Jesus Christ. This has been an amazingly full weekend with lots to see, hear, messages to perceive and receive and internalize about how we are the church to the world and how do we really see all the people that are in our congregations, around us, in our communities and beyond. Hopefully you have found times to be refreshed, renewed, engaged, inspired, and informed, and have the ability to now go back into your ministry context and live missionally and to encourage those around you to be more missional as we seek to be a fully missional church in Indiana and throughout the world as United Methodist. We look forward to seeing you next year, but until then, bye. So far away, doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? I don't know the rest of the words.